What's up, my D&D family? I have another build I'm really excited to bring to you guys today. Today, this is about the pocket support. Well, the idea behind it is very similar to Warlock's Pact of the Talisman, where we hand someone a talisman and it gives them buffs as they go do their adventures. Well, we want to take that concept and blow it up to 1,000. So the idea is we're the talisman. By being a druid, we can wild shape into an animal that allows us to go anywhere. Let's start with the spider. So by being a spider, we can hide under our party member's lapel, and then we can bring them a massive amount of support. And that's what this build is all about. So we're going to take Dreams Druid, because Dreams Druid, right off the bat, is going to allow us to heal quite a bit from that wild shape position. But it eventually is going to allow us to also teleport people around in that wild shape position. As for our stats, we're going to be standard druid. Wisdom, constitution, dexterity. As for our lineage, we need to be a ghostwise halfling. This is crucial. A ghostwise halfling allows us to communicate to our friends and other people mentally, even if we're in wild shape. And being able to talk to them is half this character's job. If we're sitting on their shoulder and we get our own perception check, which we're going to be fantastic at, we're going to see things. When we see those things, we're going to be able to communicate to our party member, hey, this thing's actually happening. Without Ghostwise Halfling, we'd notice, but they wouldn't know. Now, luckily for us, Ghostwise Halfling also perfectly sets us up for what else we want to do. We can take the Bountiful Luck feat. The Bountiful Luck feat means if an ally within 30 feet of us rolls a natural 1, we can use our reaction to say, re-roll that. We can give them our luck feature as a reaction. This works in wild shape. That is massively huge. Now, what we're going to do past that is we're going to take spells that can also really work inside wild shape. Any concentration spell will work. So we can cast, for example, Pass Without Trace. Let's pause here for a second to give you an example of how powerful this character can be. Your rogue needs to go on an infiltration mission. Okay, well, you are the pocket support, which means you're going with him. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna cast Pass Without Trace, you're gonna turn into a spider, you're gonna go ahead and climb into his lapel, and off you both go. He's going to have a +10, so now he's going to be incredibly stealthy. As you're moving throughout, he needs to pick a lock. Well, he rolls a natural 1. His lock picks are going to break. Nope, you're there. Changes the nat 1 to something else. So we really covered their like one little weakness. Furthermore, let's say we're at later levels. Now the rogue needs to get past a door. As a spider, we can crawl under that door. We can see to the other side, use our little spider leg to touch that rogue and teleport them across a locked door, so long as there's a crack big enough for a spider to fit through. So you can get your rogue anywhere without picking locks, without doing anything. Awesome. And it's not just rogues who are going to benefit from this. Faces, you can cast Enhance Ability Charisma, so now they have an advantage on all their charisma checks, and then you can follow them into the political situation. Not only that, while you're at that political situation, of course, you're taking care of nat 1s, but you also build yourself as a perception beast. You have high wisdom, and we're going to take proficiency in the perception skill so that we can watch our character's back. Literally, they have eyes on their back, so we can make sure that they're never being ambushed. We can pay attention to the people in the crowd that they're not paying attention to and roll insight, which we're also going to take proficiency in, to help us be able to tell them things that they wouldn't otherwise notice. They're talking to the king, and the king's advisor is over here on their right. They don't notice the king advisor, but we do. That type of thing. When it comes to our wild shapes, being tiny is a big part of this build because we want to be pocket supports. So spider is my go-to. That's a really easy way just to go into our party's pocket type idea. But let's say that we're in a city and there's these birds that like to eat spiders, or there's cats that like to hunt spiders. So instead of being a spider, we might choose to be a cat. Cats can still be tiny, they have some cool bonuses, and we can just be this cute little kitty that follows our party around, better for the urban environment. Once we hit level 4, we have water options. The king of water options is really octopus, which is a small creature, not a tiny, so it's less of a pocket support, but its ink cloud is really good for escaping situations. It is a really nice one to have, but if you really care about being that pocket support, crab or frog also are great options. As for our flying support, owl is king, and this really becomes the king of all of our pocket supports in general, is the owl, which we get at level 8. It has flyby, so we can give the help action, fly really quickly to our teammates to teleport them around, and give heals all the while. So I've talked about how sometimes there is a man of the hour. You know, sometimes a situation comes up where we need a strength-based character, or we need a rogue, or we need some sort of skill set right then and there. They have the mantle. They are the man of the hour. Well, what we are is we are the supporter of the man of the hour. power. And I love that. I think it's a really unique playstyle, really unique way of thinking about the game. But let's talk about combat. Spells like Flaming Sphere or Heat Metal, we're going to set up our fight winning spell, and then we can either choose to just do cantrips like a normal druid would, or we can choose to become an owl, or become a spider, or become a cat, become something else. And what we can do is we can just be a spider on the battlefield. No one's really targeting us because we're not that threatening, but we can do a lot of cool things while we're not threatening. We can have a flaming sphere flying around hitting people. We can be teleporting our allies across the battlefield. We can be providing emergency heals. So there's a lot of things we can do, along with giving the help action instead of just using our 2d6 cantrip. And I really like to think about it that way. Otherwise, we'd be using our cantrips. This just gives us other options to do more interesting things. I've always really liked the Dream Druid. It's a slept-on druid, and that's because it's meant to be the support, but a lot of other builds kind of do the support thing better. Wildfire comes to mind that they're much better at giving us team mobility far earlier, and it's a little bit sad that Dreams Druid just got power scaled out of the game, but this gives us a niche that we can at least be proud of, and I was really excited to find that for the Dreams Druid. Before I leave, I actually just want to give a little bit of a flavor prompt when it comes to the Dreams Druid. Their level 6 feature is pretty interesting mechanically. When you take a short rest, you create a safe zone. That safe zone makes fire invisible. It makes everyone in it have a +5 to perception and a +5 to stealth. I think that's kind of cool. You know, there's the mechanics for you, but I really like to take those mechanics and represent something really unique and interesting. So I like the idea that in this bubble we create, on the inside, our perception is +5, which means our senses are taken to the maximum. Everything looks more vibrant. Everything smells more vibrant, everything tastes more vibrant, feels more vibrant. All of your senses are taken to 10. So I like to think that while you're in this orb, just life is more palpable. And then what's really interesting is on the outside of that orb, it's dim, it's gray, it almost is camouflage because your stealth is +5. I like to think that a traveling patrol who walks by you just kind of, you're there, but they just don't really notice you. And that's very Fey, that's very flavorful, and it takes a feature that's otherwise underwhelming and makes me really love it. I hope it helps you guys love it too. What I'd love to hear from you guys is, do you have interesting ideas revolving around the Dreams Druid? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love for power levels and flavor at the same time. If you're interested in supporting the channel as well as getting some awesome benefits, consider checking out our Patreon. But with that, my friends, I hope you have yourselves an incredible day, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you then.